Hello and welcome to the Daily Royal. My name is Shelby and I have been a royal watcher for the past 10 years. In this podcast, I talk about the daily events of 7 of the European monarchies. So I talk about Belgium, the UK, Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, Spain, and Sweden. I upload Monday through Friday with occasional bonus episodes here and there. Today we are going to be talking about all of the events from Tuesday, July 13th, and Wednesday, July 14th of 2021. I think we are officially on an every other day schedule. It could change next week, but it seems like that's where we're at this week. So the plan is to record today, to record on Friday, and then we'll probably record again next Monday because I don't anticipate a large amount of weekend events this week. I just don't. So I think that's where we're at. It could change. This is in my head where I'm at. I'm kind of going down to every other day, which is totally fine. I knew it would happen eventually. I'm amazed I made it pretty much daily up until now. But so we are covering 2 days with that, and this is what it might look like a little bit into September when we come back from August break, or when I come back, is I will be highlighting, I will talk about each event, but I'm not going to go into depth on each event. So, for example, there were like 3 events in the UK today, and I'm not going to go into detail on a ton of them. There have been 4 events in the Spanish royal family in the past couple of days, and I'm going to go into detail on probably 2, just because that's what works. So I think that's probably what it'll look like when we come back from August break, but that's still, 2 months away, month and a half, I guess, at this point. But anyway, we are going to jump right in, and we are going to start now with the Belgian royal family. In Belgium, there were a couple of events today. There was nothing going on yesterday. So today, King Philippe held an audience with the federal president of Austria, who was on an official working visit to Belgium. This is the thing that there's not a ton of details on. I didn't go into a wide research on why the president of Austria is in Belgium, but again, I don't need to. He was on a working visit. A meeting with the king is kind of expected, so not a huge deal there. I will say I almost wrote the wrong country when I was typing Austria. That was unfortunate for me, but anyway. And then today, King Philippe also visited the Jumba summer camp, which is a day camp for younger children, to participate in different activities. So this is something I remember him doing. He and Queen Mathilde last year, they did this. They took part in day trip visits to day camps, to see how really the day camp was functioning with the pandemic, but then also became a nice little change in pace is the way I saw it. And so that's, again, at least today happened. So he met with different groups of children. So if you've ever been to a day camp, right, they all kind of work the same. There's stations, and you just kind of cycle through them throughout the day to do various different things. And so he met with groups of students, apparently took part in snack time, which I think is, the best time of day camp. And just met with the staff and had good conversations. It was just a nice little visit to the day camp. to talk about things that were going on and all of that beautiful, wonderful summer camp stuff. So I didn't do day camp a lot. I did a few times, but it wasn't like a super common thing for me. I was in a really great babysitting, like, I had a really great kind of one-on-one babysitting situation. My babysitter had, like, me and sometimes one other girl who was my best friend. And, like, we grew up together and everything. So it was a really different situation. It was wonderful all the same. But I did day camp, like, once and sleepaway camp, like, once. I was just very attached to my home and didn't really like leaving. That's who I was. So I still am a little bit. I will leave for months at a time, but then I'm like, yeah, no, I still want to come home. Anyway. So, but like, my one time at day camp was fine. There was pool days and it was great, but it wasn't a common thing in my life. So anyway, that is my experience with day camp. I don't know, it was just kind of like full on throwback, bring back all the memories that happened today with that visit. So anyway, that is what was going on in Belgium. So now we are going to move over to the British royal family. The UK is where things has kind of stayed busy. And by that I mean the Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall are working. No one else really is, and that's okay. But they have had enough events over the past 2 days to like make up for it. So yesterday, on July 13th, the Prince of Wales attended the presentation of the new regimental colors to the Parachute Regiment, which is the airborne infantry unit for the British Army. Apparently this was also the 50th anniversary of the first time that Charles jumped out of a plane, like parachuted out of a plane. He didn't just, willy-nilly jump, he parachuted. Which because of how young I am, really missed all of those, like, Charles's formative Prince of Wales years that have been happening forever. So it's nice that they do throwbacks like this, and I think they even had some video of his first parachute excursion, which is what I'm gonna call it, just to, like, share. And I just thought that was really nice, and, like, a way for people who follow, like I do, who are younger, to learn about, like, Charles and his preparation to one day become the commander-in-chief of the British Armed Forces, and also just, like, his military preparation in general, because that's something that now just doesn't really get talked about, because he hasn't done any super military training since, like, I was born, which was 28 years ago almost. So it's just an interesting, like, cool thing that I'm glad that they're sharing. And then also yesterday, the Duchess of Cornwall visited the Helen and Douglas House Hospice Center. So she had an opportunity to meet with 5 families who have utilized the hospice services in the past little while. Some of them have used it for, like, a respite situation, just to help relieve themselves while caring for a incredibly sick, terminally ill child. But some of the parents that she met with had recently lost a child, and so she was able to hear about how the center is supportive of them now and how they were kind of in those end of life stages. And so I don't really, like, I didn't post any pictures of that or anything because it just felt really personal, and I just didn't want to go into any of that. But that is a bit of what was happening yesterday. And then today, the Prince of Wales, so Charles, visited the new London headquarters of Goldman Sachs, which is a investment financial institution type of thing. The reason he was there is they, like I said, built this new headquarters that reduced Goldman Sachs carbon dioxide production by 25%, which is a huge reduction. I'm still not sure how a financial institution like that can have so much carbon dioxide pollution, but apparently they do. So 25% reduction is fantastic. So he opened the new center, it has like a rooftop bar area, which looked really cool. So that was his first event. He had a series of them today. Then he attended an investiture ceremony at St. James's Palace to award various orders to about 40 recipients. And then this evening, he and Camilla attended an event hosted by Elephant Family in collaboration with the British Asian Trust. So Charles and Camilla, I feel like I've talked about this before, but just like very briefly, refreshing course here. Charles and Camilla are the joint presidents of Elephant Family, which is actually an organization that was started by Mark Shand, who is Camilla's brother, who has passed away now, but he started this organization, has written a book, and so Camilla has always been very involved in the organization. So he launched this in 2002, which is before she married Charles. So she's been very involved since then. And then Charles became a part of the project as well pretty quickly. And so Elephant Family has been doing this exhibit, I guess, is what I'm going to call it, across London, where they have the carved wooden elephants. And so today was an event in collaboration with that. So those were all of the events kind of public facing for the British royal family. I am going to go ahead and pull up the court circular for the past couple of days, because I know there was something yesterday. I think it was yesterday. No, it wasn't. But anyway, there's been a couple of things that I think Queen Elizabeth has been doing behind the scenes, but they were never like talked about. So I want to just go through those really quickly. So from July 13th, this is yesterday, Queen Elizabeth held a video conference with the founder of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust and 4 of the young leaders across the Commonwealth. She had a Duchy of Lancaster meeting. So Queen Elizabeth is the Duke of Lancaster. And then, okay, so that is her event. And then moving to Clarence House, the Prince of Wales presented new colors to the parachute regimen. He then chaired a meeting of the trustees for the Royal Collection Trust. He attended the Traditional School of Arts end-of-year show with the Prince's Foundation. And then the Duchess of Cornwall visited the Helen and Douglas House, as well as holding a meeting with the incoming and outgoing chairman of the Maggie's Cancer Care Centers. So those were yesterday's court circular events. And then today, it was Wednesday, so Queen Elizabeth and Boris Johnson held their weekly audience. This time it was by phone. And then the Prince of Wales held an investiture ceremony on behalf of the Queen. I'm just seeing if there's anything on here that we didn't cover. And it looks like there's a couple of different like patronage meetings as well, but we won't go into a lot of detail on those because, well, I don't want to. And this segment has already been pretty long. So anyway, that is what was going on in the UK. We are skipping Denmark because there's been nothing for the past 2 days, but it does look like there's some stuff happening over the next week. Queen Margrethe is making a visit to the Faroe Islands, which we'll talk about. I think that visit starts tomorrow, so we'll talk about it in the episode I record on Friday. That'll go up on Saturday. So with that, we are going to move over to the Dutch royal family. This week is the official last working week of the month, probably, for the Dutch royal family. So yesterday and today, King Willem-Alexander and Queen Maxima both took on a couple of different engagements, and then I believe, I'm still not sure if they've actually officially shared this yet, but the summer photo session, I believe, is on Friday, which is where, like, King Willem-Alexander, Queen Maxima, and their girls will pose, and then typically, I'm not sure what the case is this year, I would assume that this is going to be what happens, they will fly to Greece, which is where they have a second residence and have their more private summer vacation, but I'm not sure if they'll do that this year because Greece is a hot topic still. But anyway, so yesterday, King Willem-Alexander visited the Brabants Dagblad. You guys, Dagblad is my favorite word to say in, like, any kind of Germanic sounding language because it's the most ridiculous word. I think it just means daily, but, like, it's so funny to say it out loud. So this is a daily newspaper that has celebrated its 250th anniversary of creation. So Willem-Alexander was able to meet with staff and editors and kind of everybody yesterday just to congratulate them, and also a way to honor the work of the press and the free press and the importance of a free press. Sorry, excuse my dog. She found the one thing in this room that can make a ton of noise. Anyway, so that was his event yesterday, and then today he was accompanied by his mother, Princess Beatrix, to award the Royal Prize for Free Painting 2021, as well as the opening of the exhibition at the palace called Border Explorers. They didn't go into a whole ton of information, so, like, I don't know the backstory behind this Royal Prize for Free Painting, or I assume the exhibition is just kind of like an annual thing that happens in terms of a lot of these royal palaces that also function as museums will have summer exhibitions that when the palace is open to the public. So, for example, this is not in the Netherlands, but in Belgium, the day after National Day, or I think it's 2 days later, the Royal Palace of Belgium in Brussels will open for visitors, and so there's, like, different things, different exhibitions that are going to be highlighted there. So I would assume that's part of this, but they never really specified, although I did just find this out today. You guys have been doing this for a year and a half, and I just found out that the Royal Palace in Amsterdam has their own Twitter account. Just today. Year and a half in, just found this out. I'm a little embarrassed for myself. But anyway, so that is what Willem-Alexander has been up to over the past couple of days. And then today, Queen Maxima took part in a working visit to the transportation and logistics sector, with a focus of the visit being on promoting more women in the sector, because I assume this is kind of the same anywhere, but women don't typically drive semi, they don't do a lot of that stuff, I don't know why, but it just was never traditionally a woman's job. And so it can be. It certainly can be. But it just isn't a common job. So this particular company that Maxima visited today, or a couple of the companies she visited, were really talking about implementing that plan into incorporating more women into their business model, which was pretty cool. And then the best part of the day, though, because Queen Maxima is Queen Maxima and so wonderful, she decided, or it was decided for her, I'm not sure which, that she would go ahead and test drive one of these trucks. And it was hilarious. It was just as hilarious as you think it would be. She was highly supervised. There were no accidents or anything like that, but it was funny because it is a very big truck. I just really enjoyed it. It was great. So anyway, that is what was going on in the Netherlands for the past couple of days. I really thought I had already pulled up the Dutch Royal House's website, but apparently I have not. It does look like they maybe haven't announced the photo session, which is interesting. I mean, it's fine, but it's interesting. And then it does look, I apparently have not checked the Dutch Royal Household's website in a couple of days, because it does look like there were some ceremonial things over the past couple days as well. So yesterday, farewell audiences to ambassadors from Cuba, Ukraine, and Germany. Today, it was new ambassadors from Chile and Ghana. And then a couple of swearing-in ceremonies as well today. So missed those completely. Glad I checked. But yeah, still no official announcement of the summer photo session, which I find interesting. I've read the date somewhere, though, so I hope I'm not making it up in my head. But anyway, we'll see. And then, again, things are continuing to be quiet in Norway, which is not unexpected. They have had that scheduled that way for a long time. They will be back next week for memorial services commemorating the 10th anniversary of the terrorist attacks in Oslo. And Utoya. So those will be throughout the day on the 22nd. And like I said, that will be its own separate event. So once I sit down and figure out a schedule next week, we'll talk about that, but it'll go up on an off day. So anyway, that is what was going on in the Netherlands. So now we are going to move over to the Spanish royal family. Spain is, yet again, the only country that is, like, consistently up and running. They will take a break. It will not be a month long. They have never really taken month-long breaks. Sometimes they will take the majority of August. I don't expect that to be the case this year. Although maybe it will be. I just don't expect it to be because of Spain's just general situation. Although maybe because Leonor's going to Wales, like, who knows? And their schedule comes out a week in advance, so I won't know until I see the second week in August schedule. So the past couple of days have been really interesting in that the girls, so the Princess of Asturias and Infanta Sofia, have worked a lot in the past 2 days, which is, kind of this bizarre little paradigm shift in the world. So we'll start with King Felipe's events each day, and then move into the family event yesterday and the girls' event today. So here's the thing. King Felipe basically had the exact same event, just with two different branches of the military, yesterday and today. Yesterday he attended the promotion ceremony for the General Air Force Academy, and then today he did the exact same thing for the Naval NCO Academy, which is like the naval officers, the future, like the new naval officers. It's literally the exact same thing, so these are what I'm not going to go into detail on. I'm going to go into detail on basically them together. So King Felipe will arrive. He's wearing whatever uniform of the branch of the military he is attending. It's a military event, so there's the military parade review type of thing. Felipe will deliver the commendations for the top performing student, and then like all the diplomas essentially will be handed out, and King Felipe is just observing. His presence is required and necessary as commander-in-chief, but like he's not really doing anything. And then they graduate, and that's about it. Sometimes there's like demonstrations, not always. There's always like a military parade at least. Sometimes the Air Force Academy will do like some air demonstrations, but not always. It's happened maybe twice that I can remember. So it's not like a hugely common thing, like since Felipe's been king, which has been what, seven years? Yeah. So that is what those two events were, and that was one today and one yesterday. And then also yesterday, so how do I want to do this one? This one was really interesting. The way I wrote it down is King Felipe, Queen Letizia, the Princess of Asturias, and Infanta Sofia all took part in an audience with the United World College organization, so with various representatives, Board of Trustees, President of UWC Spain, sponsorship or scholarship sponsors, as well as students of UWC for the 2021. So the students who will be going to a UWC school in the fall of 2021. So this is something that King Felipe and Queen Letizia do every year. I'm not sure how often the students are involved, but for this year they were, because also included in that group of students is the Princess of Asturias. So she did an interesting thing yesterday in which she played host as well as guest to the audience. So she came in on her own first, greeted everyone, did like the responsible princess heir to the throne thing, and then joined her fellow classmates. And then her parents and sister came in and they greeted her like, I mean, not exactly like, but like she is one of the students, because she is. So she spent that whole time of the audience with her. They won't all necessarily be her classmates, but with the people going to UWC in her year. So Leonor is going to the UWC Atlantic, which is in Wales, but there are UWCs throughout the country, or throughout the world, and so not all of the students that were there, not all of the Spanish students that were there will be going to Wales. I'm sure some are, but they obviously didn't share that because that's like private personal school information. So it was a really interesting thing. It's the first time, you've seen her, like she's done her own event, like she's done things like that, but really taking on an audience position where she led the audience at first, which is an audience because we haven't really talked about them in a very long time. Basically just a meeting that various organizations and stuff, in this case, various organizations will have with the Spanish royals, where they talk about different issues. This is something that typically takes up a lot of the Spanish royal calendar, but because of the nature of the past, however long it's been now since March of 2020, hasn't really happened. So Leonor started this, and then her parents came in, and then she was treated like one of the other students, which I thought was really cool. Felipe couldn't help himself and made quite the like dad joke of like, oh hey, look, it's you, I know you, which got a laugh from the room, which of course it did. Like, how bizarre would that situation have been? But it was just really, really cool. And then continuing on this, like, oh, these girls are like basically working royals now, even though they're in school and teenagers and stuff. They've worked quite a bit. Today, Leonor and Sophia attended an event with, it's called a tree for Europe. And it was an event that was supposed to happen a month ago, but due to weather in the Sierras of Madrid, could not. And so today that event finally occurred. So Leonor and Sophia, without their parents, attended an event at this forest in the mountains of the community of Madrid, not the city of Madrid, where they took part in planting. I don't know if, like, it was a total of 6 new trees, or, like, if each teenager there was responsible, quote-unquote, for 6 trees, or if they were broken into 6 groups and just planted a tree each. It may have been some combination of the two, in all honesty. But they were there. It was with, like, a bunch of kids their age, and they planted some trees, did some hiking. It was really awesome. So Leonor's had an event on her own, and Sophia's done, of course, official engagements, but never without her parents with her. So this was like a really cool thing. It was not quite what I expected, but like, that's okay. It's allowed to not be what I expected, because they're children. So I was hoping, I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping for like better coverage, but for a first event kind of them in a not super formal capacity, this was great. And I will not complain, because oh my gosh, they did amazing. Like, I can't imagine that is easy. It does seem like the press was maybe pared down a little bit, so it like wasn't live streamed or anything like that, to my knowledge. But there were like photographers there, but like a couple of cameras, including the camera from Casa Real, who they of course know. So I still can't imagine it was easy though. So props to them. I would not have been able to do it at 15 or 14. So that is what was going on in Spain. It was a lovely couple of days. It is scheduled to be another couple of crazy days, and then maybe a slowdown, but probably not. So with that, we are now going to move over to the Swedish royal family. In Sweden, all has been fairly quiet since the bizarre political situation that happened last week. Today, however, Crown Princess Victoria celebrated her 44th birthday, which is a big deal in Sweden. So it is a celebration to be had. So this is... I'm really just going to talk about like what actually happened. So typically it's like a whole day's worth of events. Today it was just an evening concert, which on some level I have to say, like, was probably very nice for them. Just in, like, general. Because typically it's, like, a whole day of, like... And I'm sure it's fine, right? But, like, I don't want to spend my birthday that way. I'm really lucky in that my birthday is in August. And so, like, I don't do this podcast on my birthday because it's in August. And, like, I just don't. I don't like to do things on my birthday. I'm very chill. So, like, that's how I look at that. But I'm sure it's fine and lovely, and Victoria is wonderful about people. But, like, it's a whole day of greeting people and not really getting to, like, celebrate the birthday in a way that you may want to. But again, that's part of the job. But today it was the Victoria Dagen, which literally translates to Victoria Day concert, which was attended by the whole Swedish royal family, with the exception of Princess Sophia, who has a 3.5-month-old, and so chose to stay home. She did a concert thing last night. It's fine. But it was, King Carl Gustaf, Queen Sylvia, Crown Princess Victoria, obviously, Prince Daniel, obviously, Princess Estelle, Prince Oscar. It was his first Victoria Day concert, which is wonderful. I love it. Prince Carl Philip, Princess Madeline, and her husband, Christopher O'Neill. Amazing. I love it. Haven't seen the whole Swedish royal family together in a very long time, and it's been awesome. So I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't watch the concert. Sometimes I will. Today I did not. I will watch it before the end of the week, but I haven't watched it yet. Oops, I guess. Maybe that's an oops. I don't know. But, like, I've seen photos and videos, but not the whole video yet. And it's just really nice to see everyone together. I love Victoria Day on a typical day, or, like, in a typical year. I don't know. I don't know what happened this year. I just wasn't feeling it. And also, like, I feel like we've seen so much of the Swedish royal family in the past couple days, even though I haven't talked about them. Like, they have been doing things. This just felt like kind of another concert in a series of concerts. Of course, this does have a different component in that it celebrates various people for their work. And so they're given the Victoria Day prize. So that happened, of course, too, at this ceremony. It was a little more crowded than last year. So last year it was Victoria, Daniel, Estelle, Carl Philip, Sophia, and the winner of the Victoria Day prize. So we had more people there this year, which is great. It still wasn't like a full Victoria Day, though. I think that might be why I'm, like, not super into it, because I miss big celebrations. I think. I don't know. But it was wonderful, and happy birthday to Victoria. They also, she and her family posed for a few new pictures that they released prior to the concert. So those will be up on the website, which is a smooth transition to the end of this episode. So I will be posting all the photos from today on thedailyroyal.com and the Daily Royal on Instagram. All of the photos from yesterday are already up. And so with that, I will talk to you all, I guess, Saturday, because I'm recording again Friday. So have a fantastic couple of days. Bear with me while I adjust to this, like, every other day kind of thing. And then, it's summer. Let's enjoy it. So with that, I will talk to you all soon. Have a fantastic couple days, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.